Hey there, my name is Priscilla. I'm so glad that you were here and that you are joining me for the chat. This is a great opportunity for you and I, as always, to talk about things that matter to you or that should matter to you. And listen, you have tuned in at the right time, the right show, because we are talking to a panel of articulate, handsome, well-spoken men who are going to be telling us the things we want to know about them, the things they think we need to know about them. And so we've solicited these guys to answer your question. Stay tuned, you are not going to want to miss this. I am so glad that you are here. I have been looking forward to this particular show for a very, very long time because I've not had the opportunity before to have a whole panel of men right here on the sofa to have a conversation with us. And so this is unique for me, but this is going to be good because listen, girlfriend, you and I get to have the tough questions answered. You know, have you ever just wanted to grab your man and say, look, what in the world are you thinking? Why do you do this or say this? You just want to know some things and you haven't had an opportunity to ask. Well, I'm going to ask for you, and we're going to give you all the answers so that you can understand your man just a little bit better. To help us do that is an incredible group of men. Would you please welcome, first of all, gospel recording artist Anthony Evans Jr. Then we have contemporary Christian recording artist Michael Boggs. Then I got to have my own husband, Jerry Shirer, is coming out. And then writer, blogger, speaker, singer, Carlos Whitaker, and incredible comedian Michael Jr. Would you please help me to welcome these great guys? Well, y'all, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
I feel a little bit outnumbered, but I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, that's why you got your husband.
That's why I got my husband, yes. I did invite my husband, and I want to tell you, it makes me a little nervous, Jerry, that you're a part of the show, because I don't know what you're going to say.
Be nervous.
Be nervous? I should be nervous. I should also mention that Anthony Evans is my brother, so I drug him onto this program as well. But I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun.
Y'all don't look nothing alike.
We don't look anything alike?
No.
Well, he is my brother, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, we need to know your marital status, and if you are married, how long you've been married. You start. How in love are you with your wife?
I adore my wife.
Okay. How long you been married, babe?
Going on 15 years.
Going on 15 years. How about you?
13 years.
13 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
13 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years?
9 in a row. So, in a row. About that. Yeah. 8 years.
8 years, okay. And our sweet Anthony.
I'm the single guy.
You are the single guy, a very handsome single man,
absolutely.
I might add. So you're going to give us a lot of perspective because there are single women who do want to know some things about the single guys around them. So we're going to ask you lots of questions as well. Okay, the first thing I want to ask you guys, I want to get your perspective on what you think some of the assumptions are that women make about men that you think are completely inaccurate and they just need to get over it and move on. What are some of the assumptions you hear from women or that you suspect that women make? Or maybe your wife made about you before you got married and you proved it wrong.
I think right away, one of the first things that at least I fall out of the stereotypical what women think male. There was a book called Men Are Like Waffles, Women Are Like Spaghetti. But I am the most spaghetti male on the planet.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Well, but what I mean by that is that I think men get put into this category where we are just boxes. We can only think about one thing: sports, sex, whatever that might be. Okay. But I can think about sports and sex at the same time.
You can.
So yeah, it's amazing. So it's spaghetti, you know. So we get so I think that but we're not so one dimension. We can think about more things than one.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like for instance, sports.
Yeah.
And sex.
Yeah.
So we can think about other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Any other assumptions that you think women make about you that's just not accurate?
They think we don't talk.
Well, you kind of don't talk. This is a great place for us to start off this conversation, actually.
Well, you should give us a chance to talk. I was about to say something. Men really don't love to, we don't love expressing ourselves. And I think one of the reasons, and I'm not even gonna get deep, I'm just gonna keep with the funny, but as a child, we're always told not to cry, not your dads, don't be crying, don't do this, don't do that, don't act like a little girl. And then when we become men and we get married, then the wives are like, why don't you talk to me? What you do? Because I've been quiet all this time, now you want to talk?
Yeah.
So I think, told you, that last part wasn't gonna be funny. It was a little deep. So but maybe it was just me.
No, I think that's an important question because honestly, communication is one of the main questions that I got from women who I was just on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere. I said, what do you want to ask about? And mostly what they want to know is how do they get you to feel comfortable opening up? Because, for us, intimacy involves conversation. It involves you listening to us, but us also knowing what's going on in your heart and in your life. What can your significant other, whether it's your girlfriend or whether it is your wife, what can she do to cause you to desire to talk to her?
I think sometimes having a conversation where you're actually doing something and the pressure is not just like, let's sit down and talk. You're like, I think,
Something like
that's all I have to say. Thank you.
something like sports or sex or something. That's a good idea. Talk about,
No, but I think, guys, it's harder for us to like sit down and do one-on-one conversations. But if you're out playing golf or playing basketball or something, it's easier to have a conversation. So sometimes I think even with my wife and I, it's easy for us to go do something, and the conversation's a little bit easier because there's not quite as much pressure.
Do you think maybe she needs to do something that you enjoy doing? She's not taking you out shopping if that's not your thing, something that she wants to do, but she's coming into your world and participating in your world with you.
Absolutely. What she can't do is she can't use the phrase, can we talk?
That doesn't work.
Yeah, that we don't want. Don't nobody want to hear that. No, just start talking casually or something. Don't just say, hey, we need to talk. Oh, snap, what did I do?
What did I do? I start thinking,
What just happened?
I'm in trouble.
Babe, you have anything to add to that?
I think that's great. Yeah, because, that statement to a man, I think, is just a thing to shut down. We're like, okay, all right, let me prepare myself. What is it now?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
Get involved in your world and just kind of naturally have that conversation. All right, I want to talk to single women first. We're going to start out with single women, and there's some things that they want to know about you. But first, I want to ask you, particularly you, Anthony, but all of you, because you're going to have a response to this. I want to know what is most distasteful to you about a single woman. What might she be doing, thinking she's attracting you, or bringing good attention to herself, that to you is just not, there's nothing attractive about it and it actually causes you to run in the opposite direction.
Being overtly forward drives me nuts.
Oh, my goodness.
Really? Can you give me just an example?
Well, because, what I do on the road and worship leading and stuff like that, there's a dynamic where after you get off of a stage, there are females who are very overtly forward, and it's not endearing at all. And then in real life, and just in regular life, it kind of switches the role to me, like as we were built for that, like to pursue. And if it flips, I'm just like, I'm good.
You're automatic. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, that's cool, because that always happens with singers. Comedians, they're like, oh, nothing happened after the show. That was whack, dude. They're singing and carrying on.
Okay, but listen, there's this fine line, though, because women are told to not put yourself out there too far, but that that a guy has to know you're available. How does single women are really struggling with this. How does a guy know she's available without being distasteful and too pushy and too overt?
I think it just takes a look, right? If you cast that one look, okay, from somebody, they're interested. And I think that even goes for married people and single people. So, as a married man, when I'm on the road, I even sometimes have to look for that look. If I see that look, it's like dun dun dun, run away.
Stay away from that one. Because you're married.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it doesn't have to be overtly, this really loud thing. It can really be subtle, I think.
And I think it's really unattractive when a woman is doing too much to be attractive. It's almost like if she's doing too much or she's showing too much. First of all, I'm a very creative person. I like to imagine some stuff, and you showing me everything.
Yeah.
So that is so ridiculous. It's almost like a lion. Men are like lions, and then if there's a goat tied up, the lion is like, is there a goat running around somewhere?
Yeah, I'd rather have
chase. I was built to chase. I was built to pursue. That's what you're saying. Like,
or whatever.
I think that people, I'll say women, are starting to feel like you guys say that you're built to pursue. but they're questioning whether or not you actually are interested in pursuing. I think a lot of women think that guys aren't interested in pursuing anymore, that they want someone to come knock on their door, because all the women are like, okay, the Bible says he who finds a good wife, but it doesn't seem like anybody's interested or looking. Where are all the men?
Yeah, I'm married. Hey, honey. I'll point that out.
Listen, I think this is actually an epidemic that's going on in evangelical America. I think you're right, and I think the women are right. There's a bunch of lazy 30-year-old childish men out there that need to step up and need to pursue, as opposed to think that everything's going to come to them. There's a generation, I think, that's grown up that is expecting to receive. Entitlement. Just completely entitled to everything. And I think you're starting to see relationships begin to fail because both men and women that grew up in this entitled generation are just kind of expecting it to happen, because everything else was given to them. And so they don't realize they got to actually put some work into it.
Is it like a circle though? Because if a man doesn't have to hunt, if it's already there, then he becomes lazy. And then women say, yo, they're not pursuing me, so I need to do more. And now he don't got to do more because they're pursuing him. I'm just saying it could be a little circle cracking right now. Where,
on the other side of that coin too, like when I hang out with college students and young adults or single guys, they tell me the exact same thing. They're like, where are all the good girls?
Isn't that crazy? So the women are wondering where the guys are, and the guys wondering where the women are.
Yeah, and it's, some of the things they might say are, well, they're trying too hard, or maybe they just aren't catching their eye for some reason.
I think a huge key is this. I think a huge key is this. When a woman knows who she is in God, it's almost like we kind of know that. It's almost like, yo, that's almost meaning I'm really getting it done. If she can recognize me and she has a strong relationship with God, there's something extra. Like when I found my wife, she was not looking. I was like, yo, like really? And then she was confident in who she is, and I was so ridiculously attracted to that, like amazingly so. Like I've never been attracted to another woman. And it was because she knew who she was in her own shoes, regardless of if I was around or not. So I had to pursue her, and then, it worked out. She's beautiful.
What will happen when we have churches that really let the word of Christ dwell in them richly? What will happen when we have teenagers and children who really let the word of Christ dwell in them richly? We think marriages are going to be healthy. We think churches are going to be transformed, that communities are going to be impacted as Christians start to obey the text in their context, in their setting.
You think about the Bible. The Bible is the revelation of God. In fact, John says that it is the revelation of Jesus Christ. If we are to know God, then we must know him through the Bible. Explore the Bible will help us to do that.
So the heart behind Explore the Bible really is Colossians 3:15 and 16. Let the peace of Christ control your hearts. Verse 16 is, let the word of Christ dwell among you richly. So we want to say, hey, churches, church leaders, pastors, do you want a congregation, do you want a small group, do you want a Sunday school class filled with people that speak to one another in wisdom, that encourage each other, that admonish one another, that are filled with gratitude in their hearts to God, that they sing and they celebrate the salvation that God's given them? Do you want a group of people like that? Then you have to let the word of Christ dwell among them richly.
The exploration of the Bible, book by book, for groups of all ages, from senior adults to young adults, to students, to kids of all ages. If everyone is studying the same book, imagine the possibility of revival based upon the study together in community as a group, studying the text in its context. Imagine the possibility of letting the word of Christ dwell in you richly.
Whenever we're squeezed, whenever people in our groups or in our churches are squeezed, whatever's in them is going to come out. If the word of Christ is deeply in them, then that's what's going to come. They're going to speak to one another with wisdom. They're going to sing songs to God. They're going to be filled with gratitude. What's in you is going to come out of you. And so we want to do everything we can to help churches and help small groups and Sunday school classes get the word of Christ deeply, richly in the people.
There are busy women like you and I who normally have our schedules so packed and so filled every moment of the day that we're running on fumes, completely exhausted because everybody's just too flat out busy. We forget that every single day you need to be in the Word of God, that you need to position yourself to hear from God. You need to come expectantly to the Word of God. Come with your eyes and ears open, expecting to hear the voice of God. And wherever you are, He is in the room with you as well. So Anthony, single guy, what would be the top 3 things that would cause you to want to be in a committed married relationship with a woman? What would a woman have to embody for you to be like, I am ready to put a ring on it?
Damn.
It's a great, I know. She's asking this a 30-something non-committal guy. That's what she's asking that question. First
But
thing,
there's a reason.
look,
There's a reason you haven't committed. I'm wondering, what would it have to be that a woman would have to bring to the table for you to be like,
I love a confidence in who she is, and not necessarily it being I need him to complete this thing. You know what I mean? I love the whole dynamic of wanting and not needing. That vibe takes the pressure off of me to come in and complete somebody's. You know, that's just a weird thing. In the top 3 things,
or just 1 or 2, whatever comes to your mind.
Her knowing who she is in Christ. I need that, because I'm an emotional dude. Like, I'm an artist, and I'm just okay with the fact now that I'm just emotional, weird. But I need a consistent, like, this is who I am in the Lord, and I want to lead in that area, you know. But I need you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet spiritually. And if I'm having an off day, be like, yo, this is not. You know what I mean? That's huge to me. And then this is the old-fashioned side of me. I love, for me, a woman who can have a career and do that thing, but her heartbeat is home. That's for me. I mean, I've hung out with a girl in Los Angeles who is the casting director for NBC, for The Voice and all these shows, and she loves that, and she's a boss. But her heartbeat is to be at home, and I love that dichotomy of I can go run an office full of people, and then I can come home and I'll drop that if it means my family. That's perfect. The way I've watched you do with your career in The Voice. It's like, oh, this is all fun and everything, but okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I have to choose, I'm obviously going to be at the house.
Nice.
Single women need to hear that, I think.
I heard barefoot and pregnant. That's what I just heard.
No.
I think buried underneath that somewhere. That's like a 2013.
You know what I meant.
Yes. Now, I've heard several of you say things related to the spiritual grounding of a woman that's important. Okay. Let's cut to the chase.
Come on.
I need to know, does it matter more to you that a woman is physically attractive, or that she just loves the Lord with all her heart and all her strength?
Come on, somebody.
Come on.
What am I going to see first?
What are you going to see first? You're going to see her physically, right?
That's right.
So would you say that is the most important thing?
No, I'm not saying that's the most important. That's the initial thing that I see. But then when I step in water, is it shallow or is it deep? You know, so it is, but that's going to attract me to you first. That's what's going to make me approach you.
So taking care of yourself physically is important.
That's huge.
Yes.
Absolutely. Cause I don't know, if you spiritual, I ain't even gonna know it because you not looking good. I'm just saying. I have no idea. You can be spiritual from a distance. But we just won't know.
Okay. So Michael, what first attracted you to your wife?
You know, this is a true story. I was actually leading worship in a church, and she walked in
Here
the
they
back
go
door
singing again.
while I was leading, and I thought, man, I would like to meet her. And I was
Focus on Jesus. Shout to the Lord. Oh my God.
It's true. It's so true.
She just kind of caught your eye.
Yeah. She did. She really caught my eye, and it wasn't until, you know, a few hours later, her aunt actually introduced her to me, and I got to talk with her a little bit, hear a little bit about who she was, that I was kind of like, you're interesting to me, you know? And then she wouldn't give me her phone number, which made me even more interested.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? That whole chase thing, it's almost like playing games a little bit. Can you tell me when playing games is too much and how much of a game is okay so that you can feel a little bit of that tension of her not being super eager to give you the number and to go out on the first date and to just, what's that tension there that's important to keep?
I think the money in that. I think what it is, if she's really listening to God, God is going to clearly instruct her so that she can be as elusive as she needs to be to continue to attract us. Like for real. I really believe that.
When it flips from listening to God in my mind to I'm going to manipulate the scenario and get him chasing me, I can feel that change. Absolutely. I can feel that whole like, I'm going to wait, I can feel that watch. I'm going to play with it. When that play thing starts, I'm like.
And I think games are fun. Let's just be honest. Like as human beings, as you're dating and then you're married, as well. And so, you want to be able to chase a little bit there, and one of the tricks that this is quite embarrassing, but I'm going there. Listen. I was 16 years old, and my dad is a Southern Baptist preacher, and my mom is the preacher's wife. And I just kind of saw them as this. And I remember going downstairs once, and I came home from school early. I was sick, and I picked up the remote. And on the back side of the remote, there was a note from my mom to my dad that says, "Why don't you come please turn me on instead?" That's what it said.
I love your mom.
Yes, on the remote, okay. Yeah, you are.
I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Yeah. But they've been married for 30 years.
Yeah, that's great.
30 years.
30 years.
And I think to myself, they're still playing games. They're still playing games. Can you imagine? I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I was like, no.
But you know what? That brings up such an important point because you talked about how a single woman needs to keep that mystery there. Right? Keep that mystery there. But a married woman, my mother used to always say that there's an importance about keeping that little intrigue and mystery there, even when you're married. And I could never still to this day, I'm not sure exactly what that means because when you're married, you're so fully open and vulnerable with each other. So how does a wife keep that mystery and intrigue and cause you to continue to desire to be in passionate relationship with her? How does a wife do that? Besides leaving notes.
I'll let you know right now. I think,
what does she do that makes you just kind of go, ooh, that's my girl?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's happening. I can't even put my finger on it, but it happens all the time. I'd be like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's like good stuff.
Come on, we need you to tell us. Somebody tell us.
I'll tell you exactly what it is with my wife.
Okay, and then Michael, I know you got something to say.
When my wife is doing what the Lord has created her to do.
Oh, you're going spiritual.
No, listen, it's so true. When I see my wife is a phenomenal cook and an event planner and a chef. When she gets in that zone and I watch her do her thing and she gets right there, it is the most attractive thing I've ever, I'm just like, hurry up and get out the kitchen, because I want you, and so, I just love it when she's in the middle of what she's been created to do. There's something beautiful about that. Wow. I met my wife in a ski resort. She's a snowboard instructor. And before I saw her, she had her big goggles on, right? She had her big hat on, and I just saw her snowboarding down the mountain. And I remember knowing this was a girl and thinking, this is a very attractive female, but I hadn't even seen what she looked like yet. But that's because she was doing what she was created to do. And I feel like in those moments when, as females, with your man, whether you're married or whether you're not married, when you're doing what you're created to do, what the Lord has created you to do, there's nothing more attractive than that.
That's good. Michael?
I wasn't going to say anything as spiritual as that, but
okay, that's fine. We need the practical to go.
Well, I think sometimes when you get married, you stop dating, and I think that's one of the things that for Keely and I that's been good for us is to continue doing things that we did when we were dating. Like hanging out and her just conversation with her, just being interesting, and her asking me questions and me asking her questions. I think that's part of the whole dating thing. That sometimes when you get married, those sort of things stop happening because you get busy or you have kids and life just takes over.
Okay, well, think about the woman that's sitting on the other side of the screen and she's thinking, yeah, I would love to go out on a date with my husband. I'd love to be in conversation with him, but my husband's not responding to that. He's kind of we're just going through the business of life and we're not, how does she get her husband to want to be with her? Because sometimes we can desire that and actually saying it is not the best way to get him to respond to it and want to go out on a date. So what can a woman do to gently prod her husband into wanting to be with her?
She should get the remote control. Put a
Put a note on the back
of
of it. Anybody got any hints, helpful hints for somebody?
Now, I just say this, as far as America, I would think, let's say, for example, if I'm sitting on the sofa watching football or something.
Yeah.
Not that you have to watch the whole game. You just sit down with him, just spend a little time with him.
That's good.
Just get involved in what he's doing, and not just saying take up the whole time, but he just sees that you're there, and he's going to just start to, eventually he's going to be like, okay, let me go check on her. She just went to the room. So, just little things like that, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's actually something that just with Keely and I that just happened is we were sitting down watching football. My wife doesn't like football, doesn't know anything about it, doesn't care to watch it. We sat down on the couch and somebody made a first down, and the announcer hadn't said that yet. She goes, did they just make a first down? It's like, man, they're on the 36-yard line. And I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
How did you know
Yeah.
this? And little did I know that she had been paying attention and wanted to create that conversation, and so she did. And literally, she's like stealth mode. I didn't know it, but 2 hours later, I'm shopping with her in downtown Franklin. It's like, I don't know how she did it, but she hooked me in.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
But it did. It created a moment, all because she said, did they just make a first down? Yeah.
Okay, someone once told me this, and this is reminding me of it, Michael, but someone once said to me that your husband, your man, boyfriend, whatever, you should be taking a course on him. Figure out what intrigues him. Figure out how he likes his coffee. Just try to figure out what's important to him, and then get in, kind of lure him into a friendship with you. That's not a good word, but you know how I mean it.
Absolutely.
Lure him into a relationship with you in the sense that you know something that's important to him, and you connect on that level. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, because we want a friend. We certainly want a friend for sure, somebody we can laugh with and talk about regular stuff with, and not just, sports and sex is awesome. But we also just want to be able to talk about football. Just talk about the stuff we talk about. I love fishing. We supposed to go fishing too. You don't want to go fishing. It's so weird. Anyway, I love to fish, and the fact my wife will go fishing with me, and she can't stand it because we'll be there all day and won't catch nothing because the lakes in California are whacked. The fish come in at 4 o'clock. They take them off a truck and dump in the water. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. So my wife, she'll do that with me. She'll sit back and we'll go fishing, and that stuff is just awesome. And I know she's not loving it, but she's doing a sacrifice just for me. So.
Okay, well,
I tell you all the time how I study you.
Yes, you do. I'm
And
grateful.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's the same thing. It's like, 'cause I know what you like, I know what you don't like, and just certain things like that. So that is, I think it goes both ways. And I think one of the things is in a relationship or in a marriage is always, my entire goal every day is to outserve you. So I think if that's both of the male and the female, if that's what they're trying to do, I think that continues to keep that relationship,
Yeah.
So kind of what I hear you saying.
He treats my sister so good.
He does. He does.
Especially on television.
No, but listen, what I hear you saying, because this is a great principle for women, what they need to know about their men is not only that their men want to serve and want to do well for their family, but also there's a tender spot in your man that wants to know he's got someone that's paying attention to what concerns him and that is interested in serving him as well. Okay.
Yeah.
This has been the quickest half hour of this program I have ever had. This has gone so quick. Listen, this is just the first half. We've got a second half that we're going to bring to you as well. And we still have to talk about these fragile egos and what we do to deflate them, what we do to hurt them, how we can encourage them, how we can get around them. We got to talk to them about nagging. They think we nag about everything. We're just trying to ask them a question. And we also have to talk about, the S word, sex, because it's just obviously at the top of their priority list. And so I want you to thank me for having them on, or thank them rather. I'm sorry, thank them. Thank me. Thank them.